Hey. What up, though?
Oh, excuse me. Maybe you need to turn down already.
Turn it down. Turn
Turn
us down.
down.
Oh, thank you, Ev.
Turn
Thank you,
down.
Ev. Welcome
For what?
back. Turn down for what? We're never turning down.
Never, never.
Welcome back.
Welcome back, Shameless Warriors. And this is
Unapologetic.
And when I tell, a Black Love Manifesto.
Thank you.
And when I tell you guys that you are definitely gonna want to stay tuned today, because I don't know if y'all already seen the title when y'all called in, but today we talking about the notorious,
Vicious,
nasty,
gross fuckery of
the Fuhk Bois. So stay tuned and we'll be right back.
And I live an unapologetic life.
Living authentically with yourself and
Unapologetic. Faith in humanity. Unapologetic.
Inspired.
Being who you are, wherever, whenever, in front of whomever. Unapologetic. Respect, kindness, trust. Unapologetic.
hello.
Welcome back. Welcome
Ev.
back. Hey Jay, what's up?
Well, you know, it's rainy. Not
It
really a fan.
is.
Not really a fan.
And why is Wall Street so goddamn nasty with the rain? Like, it was like a whole different kind of rain on the
I said like sideways
uptown.
up under your umbrella.
Yeah, and then we
kinda
came
rain.
down this
Yeah.
motherfucker, and it was like, like the
Yes,
rain was
not
doing whatever it wanted to do.
Cute at all.
Right?
Not cute at all.
Not
But how
cute
you
at all.
doing?
You know, I cannot even lie to y'all. Ever since we got into this radio, studio,
Yes.
video,
Yes.
casting
Yes.
business, I have been stressed the fuck out.
What? But you're so awesome.
Because
Don't be stressed.
trying to get here is like hectic.
Yeah.
You know?
Thank you, David.
But I'm just
Thank you,
keeping it
producer
real with
David.
the people. It's like, you know,
It's
it's
true.
really hectic trying to get here. It's like, it takes a lot of energy.
It is. You're just basically
Yeah.
running.
In a way, I guess it's kind of good, though, because then I'm like real revved up and ready to go.
Yes, that's true. and we know when Eb is like that. Yeah, yes. That
Applause. So, what about you?
You know, whatever. I'm keeping on.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a resistor from the minute I pop my eyes open. So
I know.
I stays resisting.
What was the new way to resist today? I just want to know.
So I've been spending a lot of time with like at the UN at the Indigenous Peoples Forum. So today we talked to some sisters from Standing Rock. It was
nice.
dope. They were really bigging up Black Lives Matter and like how they really identify with that as part of their resistance. So you know,
Like
Plus, you know,
it.
just
Yeah, still support Standing
stay
Rock. It's
resisting.
not over.
No.
Right,
Standing
right,
Rock
right.
still.
So what we
yes.
got going on today?
So
Hey.
today, I need you to simmer down.
I'm not.
I know. I don't even know why I say that
I don't
to
even know
you.
why you say that shit.
I don't know why I
Like,
say it either.
Come on.
because you
that
don't.
like makes me more hyped.
I know.
than
I know.
anything. You know
Okay,
I'm a
so
rebel.
get crazy, Ed. Go crazy.
Okay. Reverse psychology? No.
Today, I am very excited.
Yeah.
A couple months ago, maybe, I
Yeah.
read a blog post
Oh.
from this fabulous person
Yes, she is fabulous.
called
testify.
"Self-Care After a Fuck Boy,"
Yes.
and it was literally like an amen. I was the amen chorus on it. And I know you had lots of people saying amen to that
wonderful.
piece. So today we have two very special guests
I love it.
in the studio.
Pull
And
up then. All right.
we have Raven Cras.
Cras.
Cras,
Raven Cras.
Yay, Raven.
I'm not going to tell the people all about you, but let you tell them yourself.
Okay,
And then, but we
word.
also have, you are the resident, I was going to say the resident dick in the room, but that's terrible, right?
Oh my
Yeah.
lord! Actually, there's two.
There's actually two.
But, all
that's sorry. The
That was
resident.
way disrespectful.
Okay, you're right.
Was that
That's
penis?
extremely.
Resident penis.
I mean, I like the word dick.
Yeah.
I didn't know if like that's what you're going.
Well, we can put any connotation on it that we
Anyway,
want.
maybe
so.
I should just introduce my homie, Jose. He's here.
Hey,
to talk with us. And we're not claiming that the men in the room are fuckboys. You're just here to give moral support.
Right.
And we love that.
Might
Thank
have
you.
to say something about
fuckboyery.
right.
Yeah.
Fuckboydom.
Fuckboydom. Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Raven,
Hey.
what's good,
Hey,
y'all?
How y'all doing?
good. So we're very excited to have you here.
Thank you.
Okay. First of all, define fuckboy for us.
Fuckboy
Like
is,
the way you understand it.
Yes, so it is someone who mistreats you, doesn't even give you the validation of a basic human being, yet still expect to get laid.
Fuck that
Yeah.
dude, man.
You know,
Yeah.
it's like
Shit.
that entitlement of like, well, you gonna suck my dick though, and it's like,
Oh,
wow,
my
but
God.
you actually mistreat me. Like fundamentally, I'm expendable to you.
Right.
I'm disposable. That's how you view women.
Right.
Yet you still want sex. I don't understand that.
Sex and
Other stuff too.
other
And
stuff
other
too,
stuff, like
right?
intimacy and commitment
yes,
from us
right.
and the labor,
Right.
and
gifts.
that's a
and
body.
gifts and
everything.
gifts.
Everything.
Our whole selves, without seeing us as whole individuals.
Right.
It's a byproduct of patriarchy, and it's affecting our dating spaces, our organizing spaces, anywhere where there are these dynamics.
Right.
Well, you know, I am all for this topic.
See how
today.
see how
Yo,
she
I have
stood
been
up.
very
She
antsy.
sat.
Listen,
so
I
ready
saw that. It's like an arch in your back right now.
Yes,
I saw that.
So much to talk about today. All right,
feel
because
it.
you know we done did a couple of episodes on
Okay.
this alone,
Uh-huh.
honey. Well,
Mm-hmm.
not an episode dedicated.
You touched on a topic.
touched on
like
it.
I said, I did my
Mm.
research.
Yes, we touched on it.
You know, and women
I
need to be
listen.
enlightened because you know
Yeah.
I have whole theories about this, so I can't wait to explore this
honey,
mind of yours.
I
Oh, my.
researched it.
Oh my.
It's a thing.
It's a thing. So how did you get into blogging about it? Just how did you start doing it? Was it like many personal experiences? What you saw other people going through? What was the impetus?
It's a combination of both. Like as a community organizer, seeing how I existed in organizing spaces as a Black woman, having interpersonal relationships with the men of the organization, and how their power was able to exist in that dynamic where we're being intentional about navigating spaces through a Black queer feminist lens. So it's that, and then just my personal experience of engaging with guys I'm dating, like I'm not treated well. And then I started a project with Black Women's Blueprint when I was interning at the time.
Love Black
called-
Women's
Aren't they
Blueprint.
amazing?
The
They're having,
shit.
I'm gonna talk about it later, but they have
The
a
shit.
conference in at Spelman coming up this week. But yes, I was doing a project called The Power of Naming. And it's about women naming our experiences, because oftentimes we are silenced or self-silenced because you don't want to be called bitter. You don't want to be called angry.
I'm bitter.
Or,
I'm bitter.
Right, and you're like
I
allowed
embrace
to
it.
hurt.
I embrace it.
No,
Yeah.
but seriously, because like that's a valid emotional response to some like
Somebody treat you
traumatic
like
ass
shit.
shit
Yeah,
happening.
right.
Yeah, and it's supposed to be, it's normalized.
Right.
And I'm like, we're not talking about our stories. We're not telling our stories. And I talked to my mother and other Black women in my life, and I was like, oh, this is generational.
It is.
So then I started doing research on intergenerational trauma and wondered if heartbreak is also a part of that story.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Right.
And just like the ways that Black women have continued to sacrifice for our community, for Black men, and still be mistreated, and the labor we give to the movement. We talk about we're the reasons that Black liberation can exist, and
Right,
all the
right.
progressions we've made over time. Like that's us. So all these things are happening simultaneously, but we're really sparked it because I am a fucking rebel. I made a Facebook post about that, like just like, yo, power of naming, like call this stuff out, y'all, like release it,
Yeah,
right?
right.
Because we have to still be like nice and sweet about it, and I don't want him to think I'm crazy. It's like
I'm crazy.
And we
Heck
don't.
yeah.
But you hear
I'm
this
crazy.
all the time. Like
Yeah.
I remember for the longest time,
You
I
already
was-
I'll handle it.
I was having a conversation with friends, and the conversation was always about men aren't loyal or can't be loyal. Like basically women were affirming, oh, all men cheat.
And that's
And
not
I'm like,
okay.
that's some bullshit.
Exactly.
I'm like, why would we co-sign on that
exactly.
shit?
It
Like,
normalizes fuckboy
why?
culture.
I was like, why would we say, oh yeah, no, I don't want a partner that it's okay for you to feel like you can go out and cheat on me. No.
And what that does is disallow them to have any type of responsibility or accountability,
Right,
because it's
right.
like, well, you know, I'm a dude, that's what I do. So you've been
Right.
indoctrinated with this mindset when
Right.
it's like, it's actually not natural.
Right. Yeah.
So when I put the Facebook post, some messy ass person screenshotted and sent it to one of the guy I was dating at the time. And I was like, it was just so odd because like it's people that were in the.
Why would you do me like that?
It was like it's so wild because
that?
it's like a person in the movement space, like so operating through this Black queer feminist lens, that still felt the need to censor this male in a post that I'm actually reclaiming censoring women's emotions and our experiences. It's like, but you made it about him,
right?
So his actions like spun, and he of course felt attacked and like felt victimized.
He'd probably try to attack you.
Mm-hmm. But more so through other Black women. So the whole thing about how we co-sign and buy into fuckboy culture, that social buy-in is by co-signing the men when they do harm, because they're our brothers, our uncles, our friends, our homeboys. We say everything that they're saying is right. And through that, we are aiding in the silencing of other Black women, knowing damn well we've also been mistreated.
Right.
So like I'm trying to shift that aspect of the culture, just mere accountability, and that's the aspect of what emotional justice is, you know, and how we need to start looking at that differently.
Yeah,
I really like that.
Yeah.
Oh, I was just gonna dovetail and say, what do you think about? Because see, back in the day, shouting, it used to be called girl. Back in the day, it used to be called space age pimping.
Space age pimping.
Okay.
Damn. And that's bad.
Oh yeah.
Wait, I'm unaware.
Let's bring it forward.
People on this side of the.
So basically, no. I'm gonna give y'all a lesson real quick, because the fuck boys grew up under the space age pimps. You see, so the whole thing about this is why I was really surprised, and I want to know your take on this around the whole term boo. Okay, because back in the day, your boo was your side piece or the one that you're gaming, because they used to have boo game specifically for the boos.
Your side piece.
That was the shit you couldn't take home for real. That was the boo game. I'ma boo you up. You know what I mean? So, but now it's evolved into like a whole thing where that's my boo, and that's
Yeah, it's just how wild, how strategic our culture has become in manipulating other people.
Right.
Like that's strategy. You know, it's like you're putting a lot of thought into manipulating another person to get what you want, and it disproportionately impacts women.
Right.
It's like
right.
Like, y'all, this shit ain't normal. It's not okay. Like people are out here legit hurting. Mental illnesses are developing. Like depression is real. Like this isn't a standard heartbreak. And I really want to get to is that it's not about like bashing men, because that tends to be the focal point of like, no, you're talking about men. Like, nah, homie. Like I'm just anti-patriarchy and all of what it stands for, and I'm not about to exist in this Black body, fight against white oppression, and be cool with any other forms of oppression that's against me. Like that's not cool. And it will totally benefit our society if Black women are valued. But we're genuinely not valued. Like we don't even value each other.
And I'm sorry, because I know I'm dominating. I'm just so excited right now.
I just feeling that.
Because I was about to say because like it sounds as though you're kind of putting it on us to kind of own ourselves and get our stuff together as Black women, that we're holding men accountable for the way that they treat us, or that we're owning our own feelings in terms of not allowing people to just treat us anyway. Because right now is no shortage of fuckboys though. Like they're prominent. But do you think part of this happens because of the fact that there is like a shortage, I'm using air quotes, shortage of men?
Where in a sense that they will take advantage of any type
it's
of
like
privileges that they could get.
It's like they're in demand. Like I'll give you another example. In Atlanta, fuck boydom, that's what you call it?
Yes.
It's rampant.
Oh yeah, no, like but it's legit like when we talk about rape culture, right? And how our society victim blames, how our society is comfortable with violence towards women, how it's pacified. Fuckboydom is just as much as part of that culture. So when you talk about like expendability, there are several psychological tests that shows where someone feels isolated, where they feel that they are of no value. That increases suicide rate, that decreases depression, that increases anxiety, that increases. There's a scientific response that comes with your community devaluing you and treating as if you are worthless. Right? So it's less of like, well, what women need to do. it's more of we need to center ourselves and heal, like acknowledge that the shit happened to us was wrong and fucked up, and how do we support each other and coexist in that space by not silencing another Black woman, by not invalidating her experience, and hold our homeboys, because usually it's the homeboys, well, you know, blah blah blah, and we like, you're so funny, and like, you know, that's how we like, you know, but he my homeboy though, and that's how we pass it on, because we all got homeboys, we all got like some type of connection to Black men, because like that's just how shit happens. Right? And it is our responsibility as the confidants, as the sisters, to be like, yo, that's actually not okay. Right. Like, period. And there needs to be consequences, because the whole thing of making women feel like, oh, you can't be upset or people gonna think you crazy is reverse psychology, because now they're not held accountable for anything that they do. It's like, she was really sweet about it. And, like, she doesn't curse me out, so I just go on to the next one.
And I'm on to the next, exactly.
And it's like, nah, we need to make this shit taboo.
Right.
Like, honestly, it needs to be taboo. And, like, Black women are just dope as fuck. That's my thing. Like, how do you not just adore us in every freaking way? And that's why, we have some internalized shit going on.
So, what are, like, we're talking about fuck boydom. What are the, like, you know, kind of traits? What are some
telltale signs? Yes. That's interesting. I have approached this from like a public health issue, so viewing the mistreatment of women as a public health issue. So it's very scientific. I've done research as it relates to domestic violence. So victim blaming is one where you're saying like, oh, you did this, no, you allowed that to happen. Nobody, like, homie, I wasn't consciously like, you know, and that takes responsibility off of you.
You allow room for infiltration.
Exactly. Right, bruh. But why'd you do that? Or gaslighting, where it's like, I saw you with blah blah. No, that's not what you saw, and you're like, well, did my eyes not work? And then I really do think I saw you. And it's like, no, you tripping. It wasn't me. Exactly. You tripping. Like language, like that coded language that's often directed towards Black women. You're tripping. You have an attitude like that. It's like subliminally tells us that what we're experiencing and feeling is invalid. So that's like a telltale sign of how do you feel? Because your emotional responses are accurate.
It can really be very confusing for the female, because like I say all the time, you know, when a man enters your body, now he's become a part of you, but not necessarily the part on the flip side. So with that, what happens a lot too, especially if a man makes you orgasm, because now hormones have been released that may be the same as when you gave birth to a child. So this is why chicks be wanting to make sandwiches and shit, because I really do love you. I really do.
Yo, but like really high key, like good dick game is like
mesmerizing. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So
it confuses you.
It really is confusing. So to your point, when these things then go down, because then you like for real, that's my baby. Like,
also don't want to perpetuate the idea that women have an extreme attachment to sex and men don't, because that's also socialization.
That's not what I'm saying at all. That's not what I'm saying. But on a spiritual level, it is very different.
You think?
I think so.
In terms of what women experience versus
you
what
just
men
have
experience?
to even just think about it in the physical. Someone is entering my body. I'm not entering anyone's body.
Yeah, but you know, you could also see it as like, let's get very graphic.
Yes,
you could also see it as like really enclosing someone, right? Like really like capturing them, right?
Yes.
Which I think we don't, and it being a mutual experience. Because I also think we don't talk about it as like I'm enveloping you.
I think the vampirism can go either way. I think the vampirism can go either way, but I think more often than not, because of what you're talking about,
because of the socialization,
because of what you're talking about, the spiritual impact on women is more often much deeper, because we've already approached it with a different intent.
But you know, part of that,
and the yoni is sacred. Let's be clear.
The yoni is sacred. Let's have a moment of silence for the yoni. Okay. But I will say on that tip, I do feel like men are just socialized to repress every fucking emotion.
So can we talk about toxic masculinity real quick, and how that's another form of fuckboydom? And sorry, I'm like leaning back because I got excited.
Kendrick Lamar is going in on that on his album right now.
Oh no, toxic masculinity. You know, so in one of my workshops, in my SelfCare Fuhk Bois workshop, we do something called a gender box. and you make 2 separate boxes. You put men and one for women. It's very like gender binary, of course. But in the boxes, you ask the audience, what does a man supposed to look like? What's he supposed to smell like? What's he supposed to act like? How's he supposed to express his emotions? And I've done this with kids who are as young as 10. And from 10, they're like, oh, guy's supposed to be strong. And how's he express his emotions? Like angry. And how does he look? Like big. And what is he called if he's not that? Pussy. Bitch. And like these are 10, 11-year-olds, right? The same for women. Like how's a woman supposed to look? How's she supposed to smell? How's she supposed to act? She's supposed to be emotional. She's supposed to be, this one girl was like, she's supposed to be slim and thick at the same time, and I don't get it. And it's like, you're so
Nobody
right.
does,
but
homegirl.
It's like
Nobody
we
does.
see the pressures of how
Did they
gender
say slim thick?
is
I cannot.
but she was 11. It was so great because she
Poor
was like, I
baby.
don't get it.
Yeah.
So what it shows is how gender roles are literally laid out, and if you step outside of that, then you are attacked. And what men are told is that you're less than, and less than is equated to women. So of course, when you engage with a woman, it's like you're by default less than me. I've been growing up being told that throw like a girl is an insult. You know, I've been told that that one time I cried, I was told don't act like a bitch.
Right.
You know, so there are things within our culture, these like social contracts that we sign unintentionally, unknowingly, where we pacify this idea of indoctrinating the culture of fuckboys at a very young age, and then the acceptance of it. Because you grow up being given the same information, receiving the same information, but it impacts you differently. You're taught that, okay, like this is what a guy sounds like when he likes me. And then it's like, okay, but it doesn't feel good. But you're told like, that's like the thing, and that's normal, and all times are different. So it's like, that should be traced. It's so wild and unfortunate how we have not really advanced as a society on a conscious level. But like the shit we could do with technology is wild. Like our social consciousness is not at all caught up. And I'm so concerned about the well-being of Black women. Like we're hurting. We've always hurt. Right? Like we've always been in grief, and I don't want to romanticize grief. It does make us strong, and I don't want to romanticize it in that way. At the same time, we deserve to be tender, to be meek, to like not want to fight, to not always feel like we have to fight, and we deserve to be loved, like truly valued. I got this tattoo like a few months ago called Love Black Women on Purpose, and it's about us being intentional about how we engage with Black women. And it doesn't mean we don't get mad with one another, but what are the things I'm saying to you when I do get mad? Like, just the subtle stuff. Like, when I see a Black woman walking down the street and she look like not that good, am I immediately going to talk about her? Versus when I see like a Latina or a white chick or like whatever. And it's like there's something in us. But of course, it's like internalized patriarchy and internalized misogyny, which like you internalize the shit that you grow up in. And this allows us to value Black women.
See, and that, I know we're about to get ready to go to break, but that has me like, I'm thinking especially about, because you made the same correlation that Kendrick did on the album, talking about like when young boys are growing up, you know, the mother's like, you better not cry, you better not do this, you better, we've even heard it as girls, like, you better not come in this house, if somebody kicked your ass, you better go back out there and fight.
Exactly.
You better don't come in here with that bullshit.
Especially Black people. Exactly. Speak on it.
So it just makes me think then, because, you know, home is where these fuck boys start out with the women. And like for the longest time, I used to think that fuck boys kind of derived or evolved from maybe hating their mothers somehow, because in my mind I just thought like, how could you love your mother, love your sister, love them, and then treat another woman this way?
Yeah,
because they see this different.
Yes, I was going to say
they're like, those people are human. You're not. You're just a vagina.
Precisely.
Exactly.
Precisely. You're not equivalent to a human being. You are, like as you say, less than. So you know what I reserve.
But the point I was trying to get at,
for my mom and my sister is different than what I reserve. I don't have respect for other women.
But the point I'm trying to get at is, if your mother is the one raising you with a certain type of and she's the one then responsible in a way for instilling a certain type of value, and then you choose not the only one, but she's there, she's a prime person who's helping to shape your worldview about women,
of course.
Okay, so then for you to turn around and to be able to do these things. And I understand that a lot of it is also societal influence.
Yeah, and that societal influence is major. Like there's the science that goes into that is major.
And you know, your mom is also subject to that societal influence. So
like
she's
internal
giving you the
misogyny
messages
is
that
real.
she has received from the society, from her mom, from her dad, from her experiences.
Well, I think we're saying the same thing.
Yeah, it's cyclical.
In the sense that
cycle.
I'm talking to you like this crazy, you're a little one, and then you're growing up then talking to women crazy because, you know what I mean?
It is intergenerational trauma.
It is, exactly.
Yeah.
And that's why we have to, because we now acknowledge it and see it, like what are the things that we're doing to shift the culture, and our mindsets have to change, our patterns have to change, our actions, our feelings, our experiences literally have to change. We have to take that on. As much as we're taking on this larger fight against white supremacy, we have to bring our whole selves with that. Yeah. And that's the only way we could sustain it. You got Black women in organizations hurting, putting in all this labor, not being treated well at all, and still asked to show up and do more. And it's like, nah, bruh, that's not okay.
In their families,
everywhere, in all these spaces.
Yeah. So we have so much more.
Oh,
but right now we're about to take a break.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, never sprung, huh? Jigger, Rockefeller, y'all. Never sprung, huh? Yeah, beat the repertoire. Pause. Feel me on this one. Pause. Feel it.